Welcome to Imperfect Genius, the podcast that provides technical advice on effectively navigating the business development journey and offers advice on building successful careers in the tech industry. I'm your host, Rachel Foster, a tech professional, educator, and entrepreneur. And today I have the pleasure of chatting with Kristin Iris Johnson. Kristin is a queer autistic filmmaker, screenwriter, and small business owner navigating the world with disabilities. She's also the creator and writer of AMC Network's supernatural series, Wicked City. Check it out, y'all. Which was nominated for a 2025 GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Drama Series. Kristin, welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I feel like this is, I feel a little bit like this is a long time coming because we talk all the time.
Yeah, we do.
And the thing is, because this podcast is about business, I tend to skew technical, like the technical aspects of business, but it's also just about what does it mean to be an entrepreneur and the pitfalls and, the ups, the downs and all of that. And I feel like every time we talk, I'm like, this is a podcast conversation.
Yeah, I'm like, I got some pitfalls for you.
Exactly. So, I want to stop. I like to sort of tell the audience how I know people just so that they have like a sense of the dynamics of the conversation. So I just want to sort of go back and talk about how we met each other, because I mean, you're in entertainment and I'm in tech. So theoretically we should have never met.
Yeah. Our paths cross.
Yeah, exactly. Our paths like normally wouldn't cross. So you and I did a couple of, I think I did 2 episodes about community building. And I did one specifically about why I founded my community. And it was like believe it or not, it was just me. It was a solo episode. And somehow I managed to talk for like 50 minutes.
Oh,
So I had a lot to say about community building, but that was early days when I was very optimistic. I will say that. So you and I share a platform, Mighty Networks, and Mighty Networks has its own community of hosts, it's a community of community builders, and it's called Mighty Community. And I think you were also doing the People Magic Profit, either the masterclass or the podcast or something. There was a challenge.
Yeah, I did both. Like I listened, I didn't finish the podcast to be honest, but like I listened to the podcast, but I had also done the People Magic Profit, like the summit.
Yeah.
The virtual summit that
right.
they did. Yeah, and then I was going through like the different stages, because I've actually been I've had Mighty Networks for a long time. Actually, this was like my second community. So I was at that time I was like, okay, I'm about to relaunch. I'm going to be relaunching. So that is, I think, where we came across each other, was like in that phase of them kind of bringing that new thing to life, the People Magic Profit, and we were, struggling.
Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. So I gotta have to admit, at the beginning, I was drinking all the Kool-Aid. Like I was like, "Oh, yum, yum, yum! This is so good. This is," because I went
so good.
It's
like
delicious
Kool-Aid. Okay.
Exactly. But then like they were doing, and they don't do these so much anymore, but they were doing these regular like sessions. They weren't live streams, because they would do the live streams, but they would also do the Zoom meetings where you can just like go ask questions and get feedback. And I noticed a couple of people, well, specifically I was noticing the Black women that were in those meetings, like where we're like, okay, I'm trying to do this, it's not working, whatever. And the thing was, over time I started to notice that to me it seemed like I was like, we seem to be struggling a little bit harder than everybody else. I was like, I wonder if there's something different about building a community for Black women versus building community, for other people. Anyway, so I just noticed that there were some of us that were coming to some of those meetings, and I was like, I feel like we need to talk to each other. So I reached out and was like, hey, y'all don't know me, but I'm noticing this, that, or the other. Do you think maybe we should get together, start chatting, and sort of the rest is sort of history. So now we have like a regular meetup where we just talk about, well, it's not even just community, it's business and just life and
the struggles. Okay, it's the struggle and the here's what I'm doing. It's the accountability. It's the what is going on.
Exactly.
I'm excited about this. It's the this didn't work. It's all of it.
It's like, give me your thoughts on this, or how do I do ads on LinkedIn, or whatever it is, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which is it's awesome. It's great. So I just wanted to sort of like set the stage for the audience to understand the conversation. But this is about you. I want to talk about your journey, your story, because the reason that I name my community Phenomenal Journey by Imperfect Genius is because I think a lot of times people are too focused on the end goal that they're trying to get to, and they get very frustrated with the journey, and they're like, I'm just trying to get to that thing. I'm just trying to get to that thing. Whereas I think the journey is the point. Because honestly, once you get to that end goal, you probably have set, like, along the line, you set some new goals. And so you're like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
I accomplished that and I'm trying to get to this next thing. So like the journey is kind of the point. So when I talk to guests, I like to start with the beginning of their story to better understand how they arrived at the point where the listening audience is meeting them. I love a hero's journey. So please share with us all about your background, your production company, your business, and why you decided to found Black Screenwriter Alliance. Just give us all the juice.
Okay, well, if you want all the juice, I'm gonna give it all to you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try not to make it too long because I don't want to bore you guys, but I actually started in the kind of business realm teaching yoga.
Mm.
So I was, oh God, we're going back to my martial arts years now. Like I was a martial
Wait,
artist. I was work
time
what?
out. I never knew you were martial artist. Okay, I gotta stop you just for a second. Which martial arts?
So my school in Chicago, this is my black belt actually. So if you're listening to
Nice.
audio, you can't see it,
Yeah, for the
but I
video,
have
she's
my
showing
black
it.
belt actually on my shelf, and I have my third degree black belt certificate up on the wall now. So my school in Chicago, the school is called Degberg Academy, and it's a mixed style of martial arts. So like he took all these different arts that he had studied for a long time, for like decades and decades, and he put them together in one system. And so I came up through doing martial arts, which let me tell you, without that, like the mental fortitude that I gained in training martial arts, training for black belt twice, because I got failed the first time
Oh, wow, okay.
doing fighting in the Chicago Golden Gloves, doing just like the years of doing that and the push really helped me develop the mental fortitude that I needed to get me through everything that came after that.
That's fascinating. The reason that I stopped you and asked you that is because I also did martial arts. I too many injuries. I have a brown belt in Muay Thai kickboxing, a third degree brown belt in judo, and a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So
Oh, you passed me. You passed me in Muay Thai and you passed me
Jiu
in
Jitsu.
jiu-jitsu. I don't have a judo rank, but I have a
Yep,
jiu-jitsu. Well, I have a
yep.
jiu-jitsu rank. Never gonna get any further with that because of the disability I have, which I'll get into.
Mm.
That's
I know
part
I
of this
interrupted your
new
story. I'm
part
sorry.
of the journey.
Yeah.
So the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I have, well, in the system that I'm under, Hobson Mora, Novo União, the actually it was Nova Now. I think he's changed. I think it's Hobson Mora Nations United.
Mhm.
But they have a green belt
Mm,
between white
okay.
and blue. So I have a
Okay.
green belt there. I have I don't remember what my Muay Thai rank was actually. And then I also have ranks in Kali Eskrima and Junfan Jeet Kune Do under
Nice.
Rampaliki. And then also Savat, which is French kickboxing.
Mhm.
And that's outside of the actual black belt that I have under the system that I really like
Right.
learned all of these things under.
Right. Right.
So
So no,
yeah, so all right. So I didn't
sorry,
know that we had that
I
in
just had to interrupt you
common.
for a second. Okay, sorry, back to your story. Okay, sorry.
No,
Hopefully you
that's
can remember where you
awesome.
left off.
Yeah, so I was teaching. I mean, I was teaching and working in my martial arts school. I was training there, and um, I was like, I had decided that I wanted to teach yoga. I wanted to have something. I knew that I wasn't going to say there was nowhere else for me to go. There was no upward movement, but I wanted to do something where I could also write. And I'm like, oh, I love yoga. Let me go learn how to teach yoga. So I did a teacher training, I'm going to skip ahead here.
That's fine. No,
Spent
that's
years
fine.
trying to build that into a business that was not just in the studio space, because you can only teach so much yoga physically, like physically full time for a yoga teacher, or at least when I was taught, was 20 hours, not 40 hours a week. It's
Mm,
20 hours of teaching, and that's not even counting travel, planning your classes if you're planning them. Some people just, go in and teach. I did some of that in my later years, but um, and so I was like, okay, well, how do I take this and build something else with it and build something online? So that was actually like the first kind of business that I did, was like trying to do yoga and wellness online. Yoga, I was a Kihara resistance stretching trainer. I was Reiki attuned, like all of these things. I'm like, how can I bring this together? That was my first one. Problem one, no mentorship, no guidance, had no idea what I was doing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. But
Yeah.
you can have business online, and everybody was doing business online.
Right.
So that was like
Right.
the new thing, is you can finally have business online and
Right.
anybody can have a business. Had no mentorship. Like, looking back, I am looking at all of these failures that I've had because I did not have mentorship, or I didn't have the right mentorship, or some other reasons that I'll get to.
Right.
So that was the first thing, was yoga and wellness. Then it became doing recovery for fighters and martial artists. Also failed. Like, these are things that were not lucrative. I was still teaching at the same time. It was fine, right? So then I went to, I think I went to like actually fully online, like, all right, now I'm going to work with writers. Then it went to, I'm going to work with creatives. Then it was, I'm going to work with POC creatives in a mindset way, right? Like, I'm going
Right.
to work with them on mindset, on getting out of their own way. Then it became Black creators, like creatives.
Uh-huh.
Then it went to, wait, it was Black creatives. And then at that point, I was like, I had shifted into like a new, it was a crossover in a new career. So as I'm doing these online businesses, one thing you have to understand is I was also living in chronic pain.
Mm.
Did not know why. I have had pain pretty much my whole adulthood and all of my teenage years. I was a gymnast when I was younger. I had a lot of pain. I had back pain, sometimes knee pain, sometimes ankle pain, lots of pain. At some point, it got so bad, I couldn't work a regular job, couldn't do
Mm.
retail, I couldn't do things that involve standing for long periods, or walking, or lifting or moving things. And then it got to the point where, like, there were some days where I could not walk.
Mm.
Some
Wow.
days where I couldn't lift my arm, where I was like, how am I going to brush my hair? Because I
Right.
can't, like, my right arm does not go up there today.
Right.
Or where I'm like hopping to the toilet and then having trouble even sitting on the toilet because it hurts to bend my body
Right.
in
Right.
that way.
And at this point, did you
So
have a diagnosis?
no, I
Okay,
did
so
not
you're
know
just
what
living
was
in chronic
wrong.
pain and you don't know
Yeah.
why. Okay, got it, okay.
And that was the point where we're starting it getting bad. But before that, it was like, okay, I'm limping around. I'm still teaching yoga because a
Mhm.
girl needs to pay her bills. I'm still teaching yoga, only doing some demonstrations of poses. My verbal cueing is on point.
Right.
Okay. I'm doing hands on assist, but like there were times where I would stack the blocks. I would stack like 5 blocks in the front of the class, and I would sit on it and say, all right, so I'm having some pain today. So I'm not going to be doing a lot of demonstrating. That's why I have all these blocks. Don't worry, I'm going to cue you through everything.
Mhm.
Um, and that's where I was when I was teaching yoga, right? So there was some crossover between the yoga and building other businesses, and then these different businesses kind of crossed over as they started to evolve. So eventually I stopped teaching yoga because I was like, this is not sustainable, and I'm really tired of this industry. I liked teaching. I hated the yoga industry. I hated the struggle for like making ends meet. I hated this is really grueling on my body, and I
Mhm.
don't have enough, I'm not making enough to really be able to care for myself.
Right,
So
right.
that's when I was like, okay, I want to move into like coaching and mindset coaching and business. And that's when I started doing that full time. Really bad move. Like, if I'd had a mentor, they would have been like, maybe you should not do that. Maybe you should keep this as a side hustle
Yeah.
until you actually have, I don't know, some kind of safety net. Like,
Right, right.
um, but that's what I did. I went into doing that, but then the pain started getting worse. The problem starting, and that wasn't the only problem. I had another disability that I didn't have. I had a digestive condition.
Mm.
Didn't know what that was either. So now I'm having all kinds of health issues.
Mhm.
And I ended up like moving back in with my mom. So I'm like in my late-ish 20s or so,
Mhm.
moving back in with my mom and going in and out of the ER, in and out of like the hospital, going to different doctors, trying to figure out what it is, trying to get a diagnosis. They're giving me these kinds of pain medications or these kinds of, because they don't know what it is.
Right. Right.
And finally in 2017, I got one of them diagnosed, and that was the digestive condition that was ulcerative colitis. So I started taking some medications that were kind of working and kind of not.
I was gonna say the
And
way you said it, you were like, "They were kinda working."
kind of working. I was not in the ER as often, but
They still knew you by
still
name.
making some visits.
Yeah.
All right. So that was something I was dealing with, but then I was also dealing with the pain.
Mhm.
Like the back pain, the hip pain, the joint pain, and I tried to get a MRI, and the doctors were like, your insurance is never going to give you an MRI without physical therapy first. I'm like, this seems pointless, because
Right.
this kind of pain all over does not seem like something that's just going to get fixed by physical therapy. They're like, we could put in the order, but they're going to reject it. I was like, fine, just give me the physical therapy. So I'm going to physical therapy for
You
my
gotta
back
love the
and my
healthcare
shoulder.
system in the US, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
20 sessions in, physical therapist like, is this helping you? Because it just doesn't really seem like it's helping you. And I'm like, I mean, it's helping a little bit, but no, I still have pain every day. It's like, I think maybe you should go get that MRI. I was like,
Right.
great.
You're
Sounds
like,
good to
"Great.
me.
That's what I wanted in the first place."
Yeah, that's what I wanted in the first place. So I was just kind of like, also did not recognize that these were disabilities. Was just like, oh, I'm sick, or I don't know what's wrong. And if I had recognized that I was living with disabilities, I think that would have shifted the way that I was approaching literally everything.
Yeah, speaking of mindset,
So
right?
yeah, and also, like, it didn't occur to me to, like, apply for disability, although I don't think I would have been able to without a diagnosis. But
Right, right,
applying for disability is already, like, its own, like, that's its own challenge.
right.
So fast forward, after doing all that physical therapy, after, still being in pain, however many months later, finally got approved to get an MRI. Get the MRI, talk to a rheumatologist, was like, hey, you're new, haven't met you before. What's this about? And he was like, I'm pretty sure that you have ankylosing spondylitis, but we need to do one more set of imaging for me to confirm it. And so we did that. He was like, you do have ankylosing spondylitis. It is an autoimmune condition that affects the spine, major joints. And what it does is it causes the immune system, my immune system attacks my body, which causes inflammation in the spine. And that inflammation then causes extra bone growths to grow on the
Oh.
spine. And if it goes unchecked, eventually the spine is going to fuse and I will be stuck in a hunched position.
Oh, wow.
Right, and the back, my back will just be like that, and I will be
Yeah,
like, "Gargoyle."
right, right.
Um, so, concerning, but he was
Yeah,
like,
well,
"We
a little
there's
bit,
treatments,
a little bit.
yeah, there's treatments, there's things we can do." So, since then, and that was, let's see, 2017, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. 2019, I was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, and it has been an up and down journey of finding the right medications for each to manage the digestive autoimmune condition and the one that's affecting my spine.
Right,
So, in that process, let's get back to the business part and the
right,
and the
right, right.
journey.
Yeah, yeah.
As all of that is happening in that process, I'm in pain. I am living out of my friend's apartment, rent free, because I am broke, out of a suitcase. Might have been my suitcase. I'm not even sure. It might have been somebody
Like
else's
it was a
suitcase.
borrowed suitcase.
Yeah, might have been a borrowed suitcase. Not really sure. But every day I'm like, I know I'm not going to stay here. Like, this is not going to be my life forever.
Right,
So I'm still doing my own mindset stuff. Like, I'm a mindset coach. I'm over here mindset
right.
coaching myself. So I'm doing my own mindset stuff, my own visualizations. And in that process, I was like, oh, you know what I really want? I want to, and this was like my 10 years, 15 years down the line vision. I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to own my own media company where I am in charge. We're making movies, we're making TV series, and I'm creating like internship opportunities for underserved youth, blah, 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 blah. So I'm visualizing every day. I'm
love it.
visualizing this.
Love it.
And that's like my down the line vision. And I did want to, like I'm a writer, I've thought about writing books. I've thought about writing for movies. Didn't really see myself writing for TV, but that is exactly what ended up happening.
Interesting.
So I had this visualization, and after a couple of months of like having this visualization and getting clearer and clearer, I'm doing my physical therapy exercises like I
Mhm.
was doing diligently every morning, bored because I've been doing the same exercises for weeks.
Right, right.
And I decided to put on a podcast that I had been on as a guest, but I did not regularly listen to. And on
Uh,
that podcast, I heard a producer who actually she wrote books. And so she was a book publisher who then started adapting them to screen. And I was like, oh, I got to learn everything from her.
uh,
So I reached out to her and I made a video actually. I made a video message and I sent an email and I was like, hey, I want to learn from you. I want to learn how to run my own company, production company. I want to learn everything that I can on how to do this. And, you are a Black woman doing this. Here's the laundry list of skills that I have and
mhm,
experience. I mean, I was like, I got this much sales experience. I
mhm,
got 10 years customer service. I've
mhm.
got a third degree Black belt. You want to learn some martial arts? I got you. I'm a certified yoga teacher. You want some yoga? I got you some yoga. Like literally, y'all, everything that I
Loving
could
it.
think of, I put in this email and I was like, and if there's something that I don't know that you want me to learn, I will learn it. And so she ended up bringing me on, and that's how I got started in the industry. But
Okay.
again, this was like my years later vision. And I was like, I heard it. I'm like, trust it. I heard it. Let me do it now. Let me go
Right.
reach out to her. I can be your intern or whatever.
Right.
So and she was like I was living in Chicago. She was in Maryland. And so I started working for her remote as like an unpaid intern. And about 6 months into that, she brought me out to I was associate producer on a project, a feature film that they were shooting, and so she brought me out to come stay with her for a month while we shot the movie,
Oh,
and
okay.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I had never been on a real film set. There was, like, very basic terminology that I was like, "What's that?" And so it was so stressful. But I am such I want to learn, I want to do this well, I want to be useful, I want to be good at this, that I
Right,
was like, I'm a sponge. Like I'm gonna
right,
learn everything I can. Whatever task you give me, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna learn. And so that was like the beginning was that project. And then I just stayed on with her as like an executive assistant, and then also executive assistant for a few years. And then I was like, yo, I can't do this and produce at the same time.
yeah,
So I was
you're
doing
right,
that,
right.
and I was also producing,
Oh, okay.
producing projects with them.
Yeah,
And then eventually I was like, yo, well, like we need somebody else to come in and be your assistant because this is like there's too many projects for me to be
right,
doing this also.
right.
So so I was producing, co-producing projects with them, and then I had the opportunity. We knew that there was an opportunity. Actually, let me just say, whilst I was doing that, I was still running my own business doing mindset coaching.
Really? Okay, so
Again,
wait, so
a
technically you're
business,
doing
I say
you
with quotes, because it was not generating very much money.
okay, okay, okay. But technically you're doing 3 jobs. So you're running your own mindset business, you're her executive assistant, and you're producing. So you're doing 3 jobs.
Yeah, at minimum, at minimum. And in that time, I think I also had my first Mighty Network as well,
Oh, so
which
4
was
jobs.
for Black creatives.
Yeah.
And they had the structure different then, but I had the community, and I had a free option and I had a paid option. I don't remember how long I had it. I don't know if I had it for a full year or if it was just for like maybe it was between 6 months and a year,
Mhm.
but no, I think it was longer than that. Actually, I think I had it for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. I also had a podcast. Whew,
Okay.
child.
So really like 5, 6, 7 jobs, really.
Oh my God. I also had a I was like, hey guys, not doing this podcast anymore. That was like, I think the first thing that I let go of. And then I let go of the community. I started switching it And then
Mhm.
there's going to be a community tying creativity to pleasure activism. I'm not even going to get into that right now because I
Okay.
haven't even mentioned that one.
Okay.
But and then I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go all in on production, on
Yeah.
film and television, and pursuing that career.
I wanna
And
pause for a second to just give you your kudos for having the you heard the podcast episode and you're like, "That's what I wanna do," and then finding somebody and saying, "You are now gonna be my mentor. I'm gonna come work for you." I mean, you didn't say it like that, but I'm saying like
yeah,
you pursued it. I just had a conversation in a previous episode with somebody. Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
introvert.
Interesting, because I was having a conversation with somebody who was an extrovert, and we were talking he did something similar, it had to do with his trademark for his business, but and I was like, "See, as an introvert, I feel like I would never do that." However, I say that, but then, I mean, we said at the beginning of this podcast episode that, "How did I meet you?" I reached out and was like, "Hey, y'all." Like, so, like, I constantly say that I won't do these things because I am extremely introverted. And but I'm always reaching out to people, but it's I have to do mental gymnastics to make it make sense to me first, and then I'm like, "Okay, this
Yeah.
makes sense." Anyway, I just wanted to give you your kudos because I was like, "Wow, I don't know that like, that was a lot to reach out, and you gave her the laundry list of all your skills, and you're like, "This is what I can do for," and it paid off, and look at where so we're gonna hear where it goes, but look at where it went, so I just wanna give you your kudos for that.
Thank you. And here's the thing, you have to remember, I was living out of my friend's apartment
Right,
out of a suitcase,
right,
not paying rent because I couldn't work a job.
right,
So there was a bit of who am I to even reach out to this person?
right,
There was
right.
a bit of that going on in my head. And I was like, well, first of all, she don't know that I'm homeless. Second of all, that doesn't mean I can't reach out. The worst she
Right,
could say is no. Like,
right,
just because
right,
I don't have a place to like live of my own does not mean I am not like, worthy of pursuing this dream.
right, right.
So, I did it and then I started working for her. And then I spent the next 5 or 6 years, I don't remember actually, but the next several years, five,
Mhm,
6, 7, something like that years, producing movies. So at the time that I was like, I was still doing my own coaching and trying to have some kind of side hustle
mhm.
with that. We also had an opportunity. The production company was in conversation with the network, All Black, which was formerly UMC, Urban Moving Channel,
Mhm.
and All Black was looking for new shows. They're like, we want something different. We want something that's going to appeal to our base, but we want something that we don't have. And so we knew that there was an opportunity to pitch something. I was like, I'm gonna pitch something. I'm like, you know what they don't have? They don't have any supernatural.
There you
And
go.
Black people love supernatural. So I had the idea of like, all right, I want to do a show about Black witches. And I was stuck there for about 5 days. I was like, cool, that's a concept. That's not an
Right,
idea.
right, right, right,
So I roped in another friend, was like, hey, there's a chance to pitch All Black, a TV series. Do you want to? Actually, she wasn't even a friend. She was an acquaintance at that point.
okay.
But I knew that she liked the same things that I did.
Yeah,
And I knew that she was moving into this industry. So I was like, do you want to go in and create this with me? She was like, hell yeah. So we got like a little group together to develop the concept and develop the story in season one as far as like the outline, and then put together a pitch deck. The CEO, the woman that I worked for, she sent it to them. They didn't even have like an actual pitch meeting. Like
oh,
they didn't
really?
have an actual, yeah, like she sent it because he was too busy. It was like, oh, just send it over to me. And we didn't hear anything for a few months. And I was like, all right. So right around that time was when I was like, I'm not going to do this community anymore. I'm going to stop all of that. I'm just going to go full steam ahead on film and TV. So that was what was happening right then.
Okay, okay.
And a couple of months, no, yeah, actually, it was a few months later, New Year's Eve, 2021, when it might have been like right before New Year's Eve, she was like, all right, so they want to do a show. I was like, please let it be our show. She's like, I'm going to ask them. And then she let me know a little bit later after she talked to them, and they were interested in doing our show. They said that it was different. They thought that it was a good idea. They were not sure if it was going to hit, so they felt like it was a bit of a risk that they were taking because they didn't have any supernatural
Right, right.
on their network yet. And but they were like, we believe in the show, we believe in the concept, and we went into writing it, which was like a really crazy, grueling schedule. And again, this is a place where my martial arts training really helped, because going through that first season and writing and trying to hit the deadlines and like not sleeping, not eating, would like my partner would be like, "Did you drink water? Here's your water." And would like bring me water and be like, "Did you eat food?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sometime in the history of my life." And he was like, "Okay, let me get you a plate of food." Making sure that I stayed alive. But it was really, really hard. And it was a constant worry that we were gonna F it up. I don't know if I can swear on here. Can I swear on
Yeah,
here?
you can. I'll mark it as explicit. Yeah.
Okay. So we were constantly worried, like, okay, so they liked episode 1 and they liked episode 2, but like, oh no, episode 3, we're like, oh my God, what if they hate it? And then we
Right.
have to re-outline the whole it was like catastrophizing all the time.
Right, right.
So yeah, so anyways, we got that going, but we had like 8 weeks. They
Mhm.
wanted the scripts in 4 weeks. The 6 episodes, that's crazy. We were
Yeah.
like, okay, I can do a lot of things, but can't do that.
Right, right.
So we did it in 8 weeks. They immediately went into pre-production for like 6 or 8, no, it was about 8 weeks, I think, and
Mhm.
then started shooting. This is extremely fast.
Yeah.
These things do not usually move this fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Went right into post-production. They were like, "Yo, we wanna air this by the end of the year. Like,
Wow.
we want this to release by" it actually aired on December 1st of the same year, which is just bananas.
Yeah.
So, show was a hit, people liked it, and that
Rightfully
was
so.
thank you. So that was like my first, I had produced a bunch of stuff, but that was my first thing that I had like really created that actually got on screen, that was, something original. And as that right after like we got the scripts in and they were approved and it's like, okay, it's official, they're going into pre-production. I also got promoted to VP of development of the production company.
Mhm.
Right. So I was like, all right, well, I'm pretty much doing the job already, because I was already doing a bunch of development work with
Mhm.
them, working with the writers that for, on projects that we were producing. That was a lot of work I was doing, but now it's like, okay, cool, I have a title. So that work, which I think is really valuable, after a couple of years, I was starting to realize, and especially as Wicked City was continuing to go, like by the time Wicked City got to season 2, I was like, I was really operating more as the showrunner, just
Yeah.
not in name, but I
Right.
was operating as the creative lead of the project. I was operating as the showrunner, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I really want to do." And
Mm.
I'm like, I could be really good at this. I
Mhm.
just need to, like there are places where I need to learn, of course, just like any other area of the industry. But I was like, this is what I really want to do. And I was seeing that what I was doing as head of development was not moving me in that direction,
Okay.
and it was not going to move me in that direction. And so after a couple of years, the other thing is, the kinds of projects that I really wanted to move forward were by and large different from the projects that the production company was doing, and different from the projects that they were like really interested in. And that's fine, but for
Right.
me, I was like, "Oh, I'm at some point gonna have to leave this company, because where I want to go, like this is a different trajectory than where I actually want to go and what I
Right.
actually want to do." And to be honest, I was starting to get like, I was spending all of my creative energy on projects that were not my own outside of Wicked City.
Mhm.
I was spending a lot of creative energy on projects that were not my own. And honestly, some of the projects were projects that I just like did not care about. I'm like, this is just not for me.
Right.
And a couple of projects that were in development, I was just like, this is not a good project. I don't even think we should do this.
Mhm.
But it's not, it's not my company. That's not my decision. And a couple of things where it was like, I actually don't, for me, I'm like, I really don't actually even want to be involved in this project. Like my energy could be spent elsewhere,
Right, right.
and moving something else forward, because there's like no shortage of things that you can move forward. But that wasn't something I was voicing. It was something that for myself I was recognizing, oh, this is not where I want to spend my creative energy. This is not like, at some point this is not going to be where I want to spend my producer energy either, because I'm on a different track, and I was taking steps towards that track, but I was really starting to feel like being at the company was kind of hindering me. Part of that is because I was undiagnosed
Right.
autistic.
Oh, okay, okay,
So
yeah.
I also, in addition to the physical disabilities, I also have a mental disability. And that poses its own challenges that I was starting to learn about and have only really started to learn about in the last few years. So that's been a challenge. I'm like, oh, this explains why I've struggled so much my whole life.
And how did you
Um,
come to that diagnosis? Like, what made you even get to the point where you were getting diagnosed?
Because I was following someone, I had been following someone for years that talked a lot about ADHD and autism and some other stuff, but she talked a lot about that. And a lot of times she would say things I'm like, "Oh my god, that's what I do." And things that like I thought were normal, like I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh, everybody thinks this way." That I'm like in looking at her post, I'm like, "Oh, so everybody doesn't think this way. This
You're
is
like, "That's not a normal thing?"
this isn't a normal thing, but clearly some people are thinking this way. Oh,
Right.
it's the autistic people. Got it. So that's where I started. I thought I was OCD. So
Mm.
I went to therapy and was like, I think I have OCD. And she was like, well, we'll see. So she started addressing it as if that might be it, but she was like, it's like, I'm not sold on this. She's like, there's
Yeah,
like a key component to the OCD that's missing.
yeah, yeah.
And so about 6 months in, after I had been looking at this woman's posts for years and years, I was like, oh, I think I'm autistic. So I said something about, and I did like some other online quiz that measures how well you mask and how well you like compensate.
Mhm.
And the results, depending on what your score is, male or female, because they kind of mask and compensate in different ways, it'll say like, hey, you mask in a range that is normal for autistic people. It doesn't mean that I am, but
Right,
you know,
right, right,
right.
right, right, right.
So after that, I went to my therapist and I was like, okay, I think I might actually be autistic. And she goes, oh, that makes way more sense. She's like, that makes way more sense for everything we've been talking about. She's like, yeah. She goes, because OCD did not fit, autism definitely fits. She's like, so let's do like a little assessment next time. And we didn't do the like official one
Yeah,
because you have to go to like a special person for that or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But we did do like a different, assessment. And after we did that, she was like, I'm comfortable with, well, again, she can't like officially
Right,
diagnose me because she
right.
wasn't the right person. She's like, I am comfortable with this being what's going on with you and saying that your symptoms are consistent with autism. I was like, oh my God, I have answers.
I know, you know what? It's so refreshing to have answers. It's funny because 'cause I'm neurodivergent in several different ways, but I'm undiagnosed on all of them. Just because I'm like, "What difference does it make if I have an official?" The only time that I thought
Yeah.
about going to get officially diagnosed was I do project management, for IT, and I was gonna go sit for the PMP exam, project management professional, and it's a long story. I'm horrible at time tests and things like that because I'm dyslexic and other things. But anyway, but if you were diagnosed dyslexic, you would get special compensation and take in like they give
Hmm.
you more time and they would do things a little bit differently. And that was the only time that I was like, okay, that's when I would want an official diagnosis so that I could have because I would need it. Like there's no way I could complete the exam and pass it like just normally because I was
Yeah.
always terrible at that. Anyway, so like that was the only time that I was like, oh, I should get an official diagnosis. But I'm like, I'm not gonna bother. So,
Yeah, I didn't either. Like my therapist, I was like, "What's the difference between me getting it?" If she's like, "Nothing. They're gonna put the same thing on your paper. Like it's really." She's like, "It's really not." She's like, "You can if you want to like have it official." She goes, "But they're gonna write the same thing down in the notes that I'm writing."
yeah,
Um, so really, and everything that I had been learning was that self-diagnosis is legitimate for autism and ADHD because a lot of women in particular get misdiagnosed or they fly under the radar because we have learned to mask and compensate so well
right,
and to mimic.
right.
So, because survival in capitalistic patriarchy.
The struggle is real.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. So now that I know that this is what's going on for me, it doesn't mean that I don't struggle, but it means that I understand now why I struggle and I
Mhm,
can work on what accommodations I need. And one
right.
of the things that was happening while I was working for the production company is I was in severe burnout. And I had been in burnout for so long that that was my norm. But it was also that kind of burnout also impacts my two other autoimmune conditions.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
and there's like the burnout from the work and the intensity of the work. And the work in this industry is intense, but it was it, being someone who now I understand I actually need more rest and recovery. That's not happening. And there
Mhm.
was a high demand constantly on my time, and on top of that, there was a financial stress because I didn't have a salary.
Right.
Like, I was VP of development, I didn't have a salary, I was only getting paid for projects that actually got produced. And that means that there was a whole bunch of projects that I was developing that I was never getting paid for. And projects that, like, even networks were like, yeah, we're interested in this. And then for like 6 months, we're developing this project. And they're like, we actually don't think this is going to work. The network decided to go in a different direction. I'm like, so I just did all this work that I'm never going to get paid for,
Right,
that
right.
the writers are never going to get paid for. Like, you know, and that's just not conducive. Like, financially it's not conducive, mentally it's not conducive, like just the situation in general, the constant burnout, and physically it's not conducive because it makes my physical conditions worse. So I knew, if this is not if the trajectory I'm on is not actually the direction I want to go, if I know that I'm going to eventually want to leave this company, I want to build something else of my own.
Okay,
And
got
that's why it was came back to, okay, what if I have a community for Black screenwriters? I was reluctant to do this because
why?
in my head,
Okay.
I was like, you've never had a successful business. You have failed every single time that you have done this. Even when what you're teaching is effective or what you're doing is effective, you have like not been able to really make a profit or make a living off of this. You are just going to do this and you're going to waste all this time and energy and it's just going to flop. And then you just wasted more time and energy, right? So that was my mindset. I was like,
Interesting.
and that's why I like waited.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like put it I had the idea in my
Uh-huh.
head for a while. I'm like, I want to do, so I did not want to do script consulting. I didn't want to do script reviews because it's very time consuming and I was
Mhm.
already doing so much of that as like at the production company
Right, right.
where, often I was never going to see a check for. So I
Yeah.
really didn't want to do that. I'm like, I can't, as a producer, I already do that for my career. I cannot do that, for like a side business. Um, and then I was like, okay, well, I want to have something that I can help a lot of people and have it be low touch, but also, still helpful, still beneficial, but not be a demand for my one-on-one time. And that's where I came to, okay, well, what if I create a community for Black screenwriters? And I actually started building it while I was taking coaching from the woman I had been following for years, where I realized I was autistic. So
Okay.
she was doing a group coaching program about, business, but also being autistic ADHD, more specifically, like autistic ADHD, not just like any neurodivergent, but specifically if you're autistic ADHD and you're trying to grow a business, how to do that in a way that's sustainable. So I started doing that program with her, started building it, building the community. But I was like, I'm going to build this slower so that I'm not building it in a rush and building it burnout. Because if I build it in burnout, I'm going to run it in burnout. And I wanted to come into it with a different energy. So I took months to build it, to design it, to, do the interviews they say to do with,
Oh, yeah, the whole
ideal. Yeah.
process, the whole people magic
I was
profit
following, and
process,
that was
yes.
before People Magic. This was before
Okay,
People Magic. This was
okay.
when it was still like community design.
Oh, yeah,
So I'm like
community design. I
going through
read the
the
book
steps.
first, and then I did the community design masterclass, and then came people
Yeah.
magic profit. So, yeah, I know what you're
Yes,
talking
yes,
about.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was doing the community design process. I was taking my time, and I launched it in 2023. Also at the same time that like Wicked City season 2 was airing. So I launched it
You love
in
to
October of
multitask,
20.
don't you?
What?
I said you love to multitask, don't you?
I do it because I actually don't love to multitask. I do it because I have to, because of survival. So
Fair.
I've gotten good at it. I
Very
don't
fair.
actually like to do it. It's depleting. And I can do it. And honestly, in this capitalistic society, it's like you can't just have one job anyway. So like you have to be able to multitask unless you were just raking in stupid amounts of money. So yes, Wicked City was airing. I was like, this is a good time. There's going to be eyes on me anyway. And then, there's a lot of buzz about the show. Season 2 was also good. Okay. Season 2, my favorite season out of the 3 seasons. And so I launched the community in October 2023. I had the community for 11 months. And then I was like, this is not working. I need to relaunch. And what I realized was not working is that everybody was looking to me for answers instead of looking to each other.
Right, which is defeats the purpose of community.
Exactly. And I'm like, I need to restructure this and I need to relaunch it with framing it out the gate as this is a place for community, not this is a place where Kristin's going to answer all of your questions.
Mhm.
Right. And not that I'm opposed to answering questions, but people would come to me for, I'm like, did you post it in the community? Like,
Right,
have you
right,
asked anybody? And so people were not engaging. People
right,
weren't connecting. I'm like, I need to build this with the idea of connection being key. Because if all of us contribute, not just me, but if everybody contributes and everybody shares and everybody gives their experiences, then we now have access to so much more knowledge than you're ever just going to get from me.
right, exactly.
And so that was the idea that I had in terms of relaunching it. So I closed it in September of 2024. I was like, I'm going to spend the next couple of months redesigning it, and then I'm going to relaunch in January. And that is the period of time in which I met you because
Yes.
that was the People Magic Profit time.
Right, 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 yes.
And that's so the idea for me was I want to have something of my own where I can help people, but where I can help people, where I can use my skills, but something of my own, because what I want is to be able to, in my career, like I typically kind of separate my business and then my career, as in my film TV career. Because
Right.
in my career, I would love to be able to choose the projects that I want to work on
Mhm.
and
Right,
not have to take a project because someone's telling me that I have to produce it, or not have to take a project because I like really need the money.
right.
I'm like, I want to have something else that's sustaining so that I have choice when it comes to my career, because I work on the creative side. Like as a producer, I work on the creative side, not on the logistics side. I did that. I hated it. I won't do it again. But in that, looking at what I was doing and where I wanted to go, I'm like, I need to be able to have the space to say, yes, I want to do this project, or no, I don't want to do this project, or no, I don't like this deal. I'm going to hold on to this until I find a better deal that I like,
Yeah.
and not feel like I'm stuck or like I'm moving on a path that is not actually going where I want to go.
Right, right.
And so I wanted to have something of my own. And also, I wanted something of my own because I am someone who lives with disabilities and I can't work a regular job.
Right, right,
So thinking about it, I'm like, I knew that I would not be able to go get like some full-time corporate job and then also be a full-time producer, because
right.
full-time producing is already more than full-time hours anyway. I'm like, I don't have the capacity for that. So I wanted something that I would be able to do on my own terms,
Yeah.
and that I would be able to set my schedule, that I would have ownership over, as far as like not just the business itself, but like my time
Right.
and my energy, and where I see it going, letting it evolve, but where I have ownership over my life and then where I have ownership over my career. So I had actually resigned from the production company in June of last year. And then in September, I was like, I need to relaunch this community.
Okay, okay.
And that was where that next like couple of months became that transition time of rebuilding it and reframing it, and giving it the clarity to be a community space.
Right.
So that's where we met. And that's
And
how I ended up starting it. And then it's been an adventure since
I
then.
was gonna say, and how'd that work out?
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is like such a funny journey that I've been on. About a year ago, I came across a company where I don't know if I can say this. Anyways, I came across a company where
Mm.
I was learning some really interesting things about social media marketing, which
Uh-huh.
like is very nobody can figure out how to really do it effectively because there's like no actual rules to it.
Right,
And so
and
I
the
came across
algorithm is always
them.
changing.
Yeah, it's always changing, the algorithm changing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But what they were talking about is how to do your marketing in a way that is actually algorithm proof
Mhm.
because it is tied to specific metrics and a specific goal. And
Yeah.
that is like not how anybody does social media. It's like how many followers can you get? How many likes does it
Right.
have? And it's like
Right.
likes are not dollars,
Right,
right? Like
exactly.
likes don't actually mean anything to your bank account.
Right.
So I was like, all right, this is interesting. So I did their workshop. I was like, this was really good. And then I was like on their email list. I'm like, do I want to do their program? Like, do I want to go in there? It's expensive. There's no way I can do that. I resign. I don't have any like, like I wasn't on any other projects. I'm in the middle of relaunching. So I didn't have any money coming from the community. Like, oh,
Right.
I can't do it. Anyways, I ended up doing it. So I started that, but what that did when I started, the things that I learned, it went way beyond social media marketing. It was really about setting up your business in whatever business it is, setting up your business and the marketing of your business in a way that is gives you more time, more ease, and better results.
Mhm.
And so, because I did it in that time of relaunch, that time of prepping, it really set me up in shifting what I really needed to shift in
Mhm.
terms of relaunching. Because I was like doing People Magic Project, I'm going back to community design, going through
Right.
that stuff for Mighty Networks. But this gave me a different level of understanding of how, who my target was, how to speak to them, how to market to them, and where my marketing was in the wrong place. Because if I
Right.
hadn't done it, I would have been like, okay, maybe I should do an Instagram page. And then by doing that program, I was like, oh, Instagram is actually not where I should even be. Like
Right.
that's not the right platform.
Uh-huh.
And so it gave me not only a better way of building out and planning that the business itself and what it was going to be and the relaunch, but also a structure for the marketing going ahead. Really, really, really valuable stuff. Love this company. Love the stuff that I learned from them. Now, relaunched in January, and it has been a struggle.
But wait a minute, communities run themselves.
Communities, that's the thing. Mighty
Once you get that
Networks is like
flywheel going and,
launch
you
a
get
community that runs itself, and like, yeah.
Okay, wait, I'm trying to
So
remember what the exact pitch is. It's a community that's a value that people will pay for, and it runs itself or something. I can't
yeah,
remember the
yeah,
whole
something
thing,
like
but
that
yeah,
in the community that runs itself.
yeah.
Now, I launched I got like a good amount, like I didn't get as many people in the launch that I wanted to, but I got people in, and what was happening in the community was um was what I wanted. People were connecting,
Mhm.
like things were happening in the community. So the model was working. Like the
Right.
revamp model was working. I was like,
Yeah.
great. They understand the connection. They understand the community piece. And I've refined it since then. I've simplified it, things like that just to make it a smoother experience. But the model was working. The marketing plan I had that I had developed doing, working under in this program under this company was solid. The problem was I'm one person
Mhm.
with disabilities,
Mhm.
including a mental disability that means that I actually need more recovery time.
Mhm.
Capable is one thing, capacity is
Right.
another,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Very capable of doing all these things. Did not have the capacity for it, even though I had taken a step back from producing. I was really focused on build the business, build the business, build the business because you need the stability.
Right.
So the model worked. I think the marketing was sound, but I couldn't execute it
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
was spending so much time in the community, in the
Right.
operations, in the scheduling things, in the replays, in the all of that, that I
Right.
really didn't have the capacity to employ the marketing plan that I
Mhm.
really knew and had designed for it,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
I knew would work. On top of which, I'm under-resourced. I don't have any other capital,
yeah,
right? Like, I don't have funds to put into ads to just bring in people, or do, like, to get the word out more.
right.
I don't have a staff, like, I have no personnel. I have
Mhm.
one volunteer person, but as a volunteer, very, very little, that I was, like, really giving her. And first I tried to delegate the posting of replays because it was a really time consuming, tedious process. That
Yeah,
doesn't need my brain. My
right,
brain doesn't have to post replays.
right.
But the whole process for the different types of events that we were having, it was just a lot. So I tried to delegate that, but that was that was not something she was efficient at. And it
Yeah,
ended up taking up more mental capacity for me when I'm constantly checking on it after 2 days and it hadn't gone up. And I was like, okay, I think we need to move you somewhere else. So, we moved her to doing something else, which was more like community, like member support.
mhm. Like moderation?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
more like that, which
yeah.
is cool, but it didn't really take anything off my plate.
Right,
And so
right,
now I'm back to like doing all of the different things and I'm one person.
right.
So don't really have personnel, don't have money to put into it, and I don't have the capacity for giving full-time hours to something like this and then also still trying to move my career forward and write and like make connections and all of that. I'm like, these are two full-time things
Right.
and neither of them is paying full-time money.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, I am spending full-time hours on this community and I am not making full-time money. I
Right,
am
yeah.
barely covering the expenses, like the
Right,
operational expenses.
right.
Um, and
'Cause it ain't
so
cheap.
no, it's not. It's not. And and so it was one of those things where I'm like, if I could spend less time in it, I could spend more time growing it.
Right.
But being under resourced, as in, I don't really have a mentor, don't have the money, don't have the personnel. These are really big deficits
Yeah, yeah.
for anyone. And what I've realized in the last like a month or so is I've been trying to solve the problem of being disabled in that like I need certain accommodations, I want certain accommodations. That's why I want to build wealth independently. And I want to build stability and security, like financial security, because I am going to need to be able to go to physical therapy. I am going to need to be able to, like functional medicine doctor is not in my insurance.
Mhm.
I'd have to pay for stuff like that out of pocket. If I want to do massage or acupuncture to manage these conditions, which are both beneficial, I have to pay for that out of pocket. It's
Right.
expensive being a disabled person and being a
Mhm.
disabled person who's thriving, which is why
Yeah.
I'm not thriving. So in the last month or so, I've realized that I've been trying to solve that problem of getting resource enough to take care of myself in a way where I feel like I'm thriving. I feel like I'm rested. I feel like I am supported in an able bodied way
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've been operating like a person who can just work 60 hours a week and burn myself out when
Right,
I cannot do that.
right, right.
Even 40 hours a week is like that's hard for someone like me with physical pain, with I have to manage my stress because it can increase the complications of my condition, and then also being autistic and knowing that I need certain amount of recovery time.
Right,
I don't know what that amount is because I'm never getting it, but I know
right,
that the way that my brain works, like it doesn't shut off, which means that I need to be intentional about slowing down or
right.
stopping. I'm really bad at that. I have like a really colonized mindset around productivity
Mhm.
and value and worth and having to prove that in a way that is um oppressive and exploitative to myself,
Yeah,
right? And
no, I
that's
get it, I get it.
yeah,
Black
and
woman in
that's
tech and trying to prove your worth.
yes.
Like, well, this is gonna be a whole different maybe we'll have another conversation about, the toxicity of productivity, but, I
Yes,
look at
oh my
mental
god, please.
But, like, I look at my to-do list and I'm like, "There's no way I'm ever gonna like, I have my to-do list is like layers upon we talked about this because we talked about tools. Remember we were sharing, like, which
Yes.
tools you I'm like, my
Yes, yes,
my
yes.
to-do list is, like, layered. Like, there's like it's like 7 layers deep, and I'm like, "This is insanity." Like, just anyway, I'm sorry. That was a
Yeah.
tangent. You're talking about productivity and how, you will burn yourself out, and I'm
Yeah,
right there with
I
you.
have a
Yeah.
real it's a colonized mindset because
Yeah.
that has been how Black people have been treated and how
Yeah.
we've been told that if we're not working twice as hard, we don't
Right.
deserve half as much.
Right.
But it's also ableist.
Yes. True.
It's ableist against myself to not try to shift the way that I operate to actually be sustainable for myself with these disabilities. At the same time, there's an element of survival. I had no other money coming in. So it was like I have to keep pushing with the community.
Right.
So now, especially in the last month and realizing I have to stop trying to solve disabled problems like an able-bodied person because the able-bodied person know what the fuck they're talking about or what they're doing.
Right.
And the disabled person in me has to be like, hey, you need to sit down. Yeah. Yeah. Nope.
I need a little
No.
attention here,
Don't.
some
Yeah,
self-care.
don't
Yeah.
don't make that video. No, no, no.
Right.
No. Stop. Stop. Sit
Right.
down. Literally, sit down. Um, and so there is a bit of like decolonizing happening because there's an anxiety when I'm not doing enough, quote,
Right.
doing enough. When like
Right.
literally I'll be like, was this 8 hours? Oh, I did like 8 hours today. That's a work day. And then that's the able body part. And then the
Right.
disabled part is like, why do you have to work 8 hours?
Right. Right.
Like this is not actually a thing. This is just a thing you've been told.
Right.
Like you don't have to like I would find myself like, okay, well, I've only done this today. So like I have to fill my day with something else because I feel like I haven't done enough. Like
Oh
what?
my
What?
god, I
What
feel
am I
so seen.
doing?
I feel so seen. This is so bad. I look my to-do list, the tool that I'm using right now, it has a thing where so when you check it off, you can go look at your log. I will look at my log at the end of the day to see to measure whether or not I feel like I've done enough. And I'm like, you only did 3 things today. It's like, yeah, but those were 3 very big things that you did.
Yeah.
Like you produced 3 podcast episodes or what I was like, those were 3 very big things. Don't count like it was only 3 things. You did a lot today. And even if it was just one, even if you just did one of those things, it was enough. And it's like the
Yeah.
telling your brain what is enough, like trying to reset your brain in terms of what is enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a decolonizing productivity. It's decolonizing work. And this, especially right now, the way America is,
Yeah.
to say I don't have to work this many hours to be deserving of like, oh, I don't know, a home or like
Right.
food. Like
Right.
that's such a challenging thing when you're just trying to like scrape by and survive. And
Right.
I've in building the business, while the model is viable and the marketing is viable, and there are marketing things that I've done that I'm like, oh, this, if I could just do this a little bigger and I can tweak this over here and put some more money into it, this would like blow it up, right?
Right. Right.
And things that I have tried that I'm like, if I could do this on a bigger scale, I would be Gucci, but I can't because I don't have
Right.
the money
Right.
and like the resources and the blah blah blah. And so what I'm looking at right now is like I love my community and I love the model and it's something that I do have like these big aspirations for. Like I'm like one day I want to like have programs, with studios where there's like mentorship programs in connection with studios. Like these are like big dreams that I have for it. But right now, I can't do that when I'm under resourced. And I don't even mean
Right.
that level. I mean, for me to even get to like a sustainable level, I need to really be able to run this community and run this business when I'm better resourced out the gate. And that
Right.
is also the challenge for people who are Black, who are people of color, who are trans, LGBTQ, who are women, who are neurodivergent. These are some of the obstacles that we have because of these marginalizations that set us up already to be under resourced.
Right. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
easier to
Yeah.
have a mentor when you can pay for mentorship.
The system is rigged.
It's hard to do that when you are disabled and you
Right.
can't work a regular job to save up money for mentorship.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like these are things that these are disadvantages. And even with the disadvantages, I've been able to do a lot, but I really need to, now I'm in a place where I'm like, I need to build my life around how can I actually thrive as a person with these disabilities and not just like scrape by and survive and push until I die.
Right.
And then once I can build that and build some stability with that, now what do I want to build on top of that? What do I want to add to it, and adding to it in a way that is sustainable instead of jumping into it because I'm trying to get the survival piece. So, funny thing.
Okay. I was gonna say, okay, go ahead.
So, like, where's that going,
Well, I
right?
was gonna say, so yeah, so what comes next then? Where's that going? Exactly. Yeah, you're reading my mind. Go ahead.
Yes. So, what comes next for me with this is the company that I learned that marketing from.
Mhm.
I am actually going to be working with them.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
So they had a job opening listed back in June for sales. Now, like, I can sell anything as long as it's not mine. Okay. I'm really good at sales when it's not my own product. So I applied, and then after like 3.5 months of like this dance back and forth, they were like, hey, we're suspending hiring of this position because we need to tinker with some other things before we bring someone else in, which totally makes sense. But I was like, that's nice and all, but like, I'm going to work for this company. I was like, I was already when I saw the opening, I was like, all right, let me I was in the middle of like launching this like 5-day challenge in my
Yeah.
community. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna hold, let me just launch this. I'm like, man, I bet other people are trying to get this job. But I was like, I knew at that point, this was in the summer. I was like, I have to get a job. Like, the community is not enough. I'm running out of money. Like, thank God for my partner.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is a huge financial strain. It's not sustainable. And I know that I know that this community is going to be a slower build than I expected it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just by the name, I'm like, it's viable, but it's going to be a slower build. So I need to get a job. I wanted to get a part-time job that was going to be sustaining, which means I got to get like pretty good pay for like part-time hours. So I saw this. I was like, I love the company. I believe in the company. I can also learn from the company. If I go, I do sales with them, I'm going to learn how to run a collaborative team because I've seen bits of how they operate. I'm going to be able to learn from the CEO how to CEO. I'm like, there's so much I can give to them, but there's so much that I can learn as a baby CEO myself. And so I was like, okay, I wanna work for them. So I went through that process, and then they were like, we're suspending it. And I was like, okay, totally understand, but I would really love to work with your company, and I'm open to working in different capacities. So, blah, 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 blah. If you're open to that conversation, I would love to chat about it. I sent it to the hiring manager and to the CEO. They both got back to me within 24 hours and were like, we're going to talk about it and find a place.
That is so
And
awesome.
so just as of this morning, I got like right before we got on, I got like the updated offer from
Yay!
them. And I'm like,
Congratulations.
I like it. And so what I wanted, especially in working with them, even though it's not in the film and television industry, I want something where I can bring my skills, where I can work part-time, and still have time to write. Like, I need to pull back from a lot of things. I need to pull back from trying to run this community and run this business. I need to pull back from even push in film and television. Like, I'm going to write, but I don't think I'm going to be doing this big push career wise. Like, I need to pull back and actually take care of myself as a person living with disabilities and find what my capacity is and then bring other things in. But this position with them also, funny enough, it's not actually just sales. It is a unique combination of my skills as a storyteller and as a producer, but also even bringing in my history of like mindset and mindset coaching. And I get to like bring this all together in a way that's going to support support the business, but also support the people, the clients that are coming into the business. And that's like really exciting for me. So now I am, I am back to I'm going to be back to having a job. But it's a job that I'm like really excited. And I didn't think I'd be excited about working for other people in a job. And I didn't think I'd be excited about working for white people either. Okay.
I love it.
Because this is not a black owned company. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go work for the white people.
I love
But I
it.
really
But I
like what I
love
see.
that.
I like what I've learned. I like
Yeah.
what I see from them as far as how they operate. Like, I'm really excited about this opportunity. And because it's still part time, I'm going to have time to write and time to just like figure out, okay, what does my life need to look like? And what do I really want to build? Like, I have to reevaluate everything right now and stop trying to solve the problem of my life. As an able-bodied person, I need to approach everything as a person with the disabilities that I have, so that I can actually thrive as a person with the disabilities that I have, instead of drowning under, the crushing weight of capitalism and toxic productivity.
Yeah, yeah, no, agree. And I love that you're gonna be sharpening the saw. You're gonna be, like, sharpening your skill set. You're gonna be getting paid to learn and to grow, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm going to
And
be bringing something that like I'm going to be filling a gap they don't already have
yeah,
filled.
yeah,
It's not like, oh, we need to bring more people that are doing this role. It's like, no, I'm like this is a whole new role,
right, right.
that is a special mix of my unique capabilities and experiences. And that's how I got it.
That's
That's how I
awesome.
got it. But I'm like, this is a trust the timing. Like, I started there. I was like, I don't know if I should do it. And then I did it. And then I, relaunched the business. Love what I saw from them, saw an opportunity, continued to make an opportunity, because like they weren't even hiring for the position. And now here I am. I'm like, what did I want when I knew I had to get a job, because what I was building was not going to be sustainable anytime soon, is something that I could do that was not going to be mind numbing and soul
Mhm,
crushing.
mhm.
Something that was going to be exciting and interesting to me, but that wasn't going to suck up all my time, so that I wouldn't be able to do anything else. And
Right, right.
that is what all the struggle of 2025 and all the struggle of all the businesses, and this is where I'm at,
And will you
where
be continuing the community while you're doing that, or are you gonna close it and come back to it?
what I'm doing right now is November. I'm actually running like a special script sprint, a 30-day script sprint in November. And it's actually free. So anybody who, if you're not in the community, anybody who is like a black person, I don't want to say you have to be a black screenwriter, because there's plenty of people who like want to dabble in it. And this is like the
Mhm.
perfect opportunity to do that.
Right,
It's like,
gotcha.
oh, I want to write like, I think I want to write a movie, but I'm not a writer, so I can't do it. It's like, well, you can for 30 days. Let's go.
Yeah,
So I'm running this 30-day sprint, and I'm doing it because I want that for myself. Because I have had a script that I've had the idea for a year, that I didn't do any writing on. I've done development on it this year, but I haven't done any writing because I've been so consumed with the business and the financial strain and the, oh my
yeah,
God, I have to find a job and like all of that. So I'm like, no, I need to write this script. So I set up this November 30-day script sprint in the spirit of what used to be National Novel Writing Month, which happened every November. It died this year,
oh,
for various reasons. But I used to do that with my friends. I'm like, it was so fun. You write a 50,000 word novel, which is about 200 pages, in the 30 days of November. I was like, I'm going to do this for my script. And I'm going to bring
oh,
other people in, because that'll give me accountability and it'll be a fun thing for us to do in the community. So that's like the next thing I'm doing with the community starting November 1st, where we're going to be doing this script sprint. And like I said, it's free. So there's already people that are coming in,
yeah,
and then I'm going to be starting also at the same time this new job. So
yeah,
I'll be like doing the job, doing the sprint, doing my own writing, which is really exciting because that's what I'll be doing in the sprint. And after the sprint, that's actually when I plan on closing doors.
oh, okay.
So I would like to close doors before, like by like mid December, so I can have like the last 2 weeks of December to just like
Mhm.
And I'm not saying I'm going to close doors permanently, but I know that for me to really build the community and to grow it, I have to start it off better resourced.
Mhm.
And maybe that would be the case for everybody because this whole community that runs itself, I don't know, that just doesn't sound like a real thing. That does not sound like an honest thing. That sounds like a combination of I don't
It
know, that
sounds
doesn't
like
sound like a
wishful
thing.
thinking, I don't know what it
Like, if
is.
you already have a massive following or you
Yeah,
already have a major
right.
business and people like Marie Forleo, people will
Yeah,
pay $1,000 a month just to be close to her
right,
in the community, right? That's not
right,
me. I'm not a Marie Forleo. People aren't gonna do that.
right, exactly.
So for me, I'm like, I still believe in like what it can be and the vision that I have for it. But I know that right now is not the time for me to actually be able to bring that to fruition. I need to put myself in a better place and to be better resourced for the community to actually grow and thrive in the way that I know it eventually can. So I do plan on closing the doors temporarily. I don't know how long that period will be, and I don't want to put a timeline on it because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do not want to I don't want to pressure myself into reopening it by a certain date
Mhm,
because I just happen to set that date and not reopening it based on when I'm resourced, what feels right, what feels sustainable for me.
mhm.
That is what I want to base it off of.
Right,
And so
right.
I don't have a timeline on how long, but I do plan on closing doors to it. And then that way I can give myself the space to really assess my own life and what I need and then, you know,
Yeah,
build from
yeah.
there. And maybe I'll build something else,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
I have a new YouTube channel that I'm
yeah.
doing. Like I have one for the community, like one for the business, but I
Right.
also have one for myself,
Yeah,
so I have a new YouTube channel where I'm going to be sharing this crazy wonky journey of being a disabled writer producer in this like dog eat dog industry in a
right.
chaotic world.
Yeah,
So like who knows, that could there are podcasts, there's all kinds of things I
yeah,
want to do,
yeah.
but before that I want to get some rest.
Yeah, we all deserve a little bit of rest, don't you think?
I want to get some rest. I want to like take a breath and then be
Yeah,
like, okay, here is what's sustainable for me.
yeah,
Here is where I feel settled. Here is where I feel cared for. Here is where I feel accommodated. Here is what I need to be able to maintain that. And then, okay, yeah, let me go
yeah,
do this.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
let me
that's
go do
fair.
that. Or have the space to be like, oh, let me go do that. And then I do it and I'm like, ooh, actually, no, I
Maybe
don't
not.
think so. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna
Yeah,
stop doing that.
that's
Maybe
called
that turned out to
prototyping.
be too time consuming,
Yeah. No, that's called prototyping. There's this book called, Designing Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans, which is basically when you're trying to decide what to do next from a career perspective or even just in your life, you apply design thinking to that process where you're like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna prototype this to see if this is the right thing for me. Like the famous
Hmm.
example that they give in there is a woman who decided she loved coffee shops and she decided she wanted to run a coffee shop. And instead of like working as a barista or like just trying out like what it was to work in a coffee shop. She like quit her job and took all her own money. She didn't like get, capital from like the bank or anything. Took all her own money, bought a coffee shop, started running it, hated it because she'd never worked in a coffee shop. She didn't know what that
Yeah.
life looked like. And it's like, instead of doing that, maybe you first work as a barista.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Get an inside look, so so that the idea of looking at a couple different things you want to do and then just trying things out to see if you like it or if you don't, if it works for you or if it doesn't. That's prototyping. It's called Designing Your Life. So I highly recommend that book, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna check that out. Cause yeah, I wanna be able to I wanna be in a place where like I'm at least sustained and like financially stable and then be like, okay, let me dabble over here or let me pursue this, but I can pursue this, but I need these accommodations, or I can do this, but here are my boundaries around it. Because right
Right.
now, I'm still working on the boundaries part because again, I have a colonized relationship to productivity and value. And also, as an autistic person, when I like really get into something, sometimes I just get timeline and then I look up and I'm like, why is it dark in here?
Right.
What happened? And
Right,
then my
right.
partner's coming in the door and I'm like, oh my God, did I make dinner? Like,
That's
you know?
so funny.
So yeah, so sometimes that happens as well. So I have to, I want to be really clear when I'm bringing in another big endeavor, like, I don't know, starting a business, that
Yeah,
I'm really clear around what my boundaries are and what what accommodations I need, which we'll probably have to adjust as I'm in it. I'm like, oh, okay, didn't anticipate this. Now I need to adjust,
right,
but to have the resources to be able to make that adjustment, and maybe having a plan for, like, when to assess, like how long before I assess, and I'm like, okay, this isn't working, or
right, right.
so yeah, it's a process that I'm going to be learning. I don't really know much about that,
Yeah, yeah.
uh so that's going to be an adventure.
Yeah, hey, that's life is all about the adventure. Like I say, it's all about the journey. Well,
Yeah,
Kristen, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with the listeners. I, like I said, when we were talking about having you on, and you were like, "What are we going to talk about?" I was like, "Look, I believe that it's important to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. We need to let everybody know what it really looks like, to be an entrepreneur, to try to run a business, and what do you do after you fail? Like, how do you succeed,
yeah,
and like, how do you, find that next thing? But also, what do you do after you fail, and how do you reset, and just sort of how do you keep going? Because there's going to be lots of failures, and you gotta, what is it? I'm always messing up quotes because I can never get them right. But something about you get knocked down. Basically, it's is a boxing metaphor about like you
yeah. It's
every
like
time
you
you get
get knocked down eight, like not knocked down eight, or knocked down nine, get up 10.
exactly, exactly. Yes, that's how you're
Oh yeah,
successful.
well, I've been knocked down like 19, and this is I'm getting up 20.
Fair, very fair, very fair. Well, before we go, let the listeners know where they can find you or your work if you want them to, like where can they find Wicked City, or do you want them to join your community to do this 30-day challenge, or where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find, first of all, watch Wicked City. Oh, also Wicked City. So it's an all black original, but it's now on Tubi.
Ah,
So I don't know how long it'll be on Tubi. I don't know if it's
okay.
just for spooky season, but it is on Tubi. You can find it on there. I've actually doing like a rewatch myself. So, definitely check out Wicked City, Black Witches, lots of fun.
Mhm.
And then also you can find me on YouTube, my new YouTube, which is at youtube.com/ the at symbol, Kristin Iris Johnson. You can also find me on Instagram at Kristin Iris Johnson. Questionable how active I'll be over there because I'm really trying to be more on YouTube, but we'll see. So yeah, you can find me in those places, and just kind of see what's going on and following the journey.
Yeah, check it out. Check out her work. And listeners, thank you for listening. If you're a woman of color who's running her own business and you want to connect with other women in underrepresented fields for support and mentorship, you can head over to community.imperfectgenius.com. You can, if you're listening to us on the live podcast app, you can leave us a comment, or you can call or text me at 404-425-9862. You can connect with me on social media at Ask Imperfect Genius. Oh, and check out our merchandise on the Imperfect Genius shop at imperfectgenius.com/shop. If you use the coupon code ALIVE15, you can get 15% off your first purchase. And until next time, this is Rachel Foster reminding you, while your journey may not be flawless, it can be phenomenal. We got